So Dan Ndoye has completed his medical. It is done and dusted. This isn't a Spurs scenario. He was actually there. But what kind of player are we getting? Is he good enough? And how does he compare with Elanga? Welcome to your Forest News. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to your Forest News. As Dan Ndoye is officially confirmed, medical done. It is a 5-year contract plus one, done and dusted. Flew through his medical. So get those likes up if you're excited for Dan Ndoye. Make sure you're subscribed. Massive thank you to you all as we've sailed through 28,000 subscribers. Thanks to you guys. And if you want to see some exclusive news on Marinakis, there's a video up on the Patreon channel. Go check it out. You can scan that QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Okay, what we're doing tonight, I'm going to talk you through Dan Ndoye. I'm going to tell you about who he is. How does he compare with the likes of Elanga, who he's meant to replace? Is his actual position right wing, or should he be on the left side? And how does he fit into Nuno's tactics? So a lot to cover off. Let's get straight into it. So let's start with a quick recap about exactly how much Forest have paid for Dan Ndoye, who is now a Red. As you can see, Forest have paid 35 million plus 4.3 in add-ons, plus a 10% sell-on fee as well. He's a Swiss international, right-footed, played 75 games for Bologna, got 11 goals and 8 assists, and predominantly can play on the right side, but has as well played on the left side. We'll break his stats down for you. And I think the important thing I want to start with here is, how does he compare to Elanga? Because I'm still hoping that he is the Elanga replacement and not bloody Adama oil me up Traore. So I've got a little kind of screen comparison here for you guys that I want to run through. Hopefully it's big enough for you to see, but I'll talk you through it all the same. So on the left, we've got Ndoye. On the right, we've got Elanga. And you can see that age-wise, they're very comparable. Elanga 23, Ndoye 24. Height-wise, not too much in it, 6 centimeters between the two. And market value, Elanga is more expensive. Obviously, Prem tax, homegrown tax, etc. Now, what I found interesting was looking at the heat maps, because he does play a lot on the left-hand side. You can see on the left here is Ndoye's heat map. A lot of his work is wide out right. The heat map is very red in and around the opposition's half as well, but he does track back and do some important defensive work as well. Whereas you can see with Elanga, his hottest areas are not as dark in terms of Ndoye's, and it's more spread out throughout the pitch. And it's just interesting to see that comparison, because I'm starting to wonder, we did see Callum Hudson-Odoi play on the right-hand side in the previous friendly. Is Nuno looking at Ndoye as that versatile winger who he may favour on the left-hand side, because then he can cut on towards his favoured right foot? But let's go into the actual game stats. You can see on average, he has 72 minutes per game, whereas Elanga had 66. In terms of total minutes played, Elanga had significantly more, nearly 500 minutes more, because there was more injuries for Ndoye. And matches played, 38 for Elanga versus 30. This is just league comparison, by the way, Serie A versus Premier League. Goals, Ndoye got more. Expected XG, his was higher at 6.9. Elanga got 6 goals with an expected XG of 4.4. And then in terms of goals per game, 0.3 to 0.2, not too much in it. More shots were being had by Ndoye, 0.6 versus 0.3. And shots on target, Elanga was slightly better. In terms of assists, there's no real comparison there. Elanga was way higher with 11 versus Ndoye's 4. So if you add up their GA, you're looking at 8 plus 4. So you got, what's that, 12? And then with Elanga 17. So Elanga produced more GA in what most would regard as a tougher league than Ndoye did. And then with the defensive work, I just want to show you that as well. He does track back. The heat map does indicate that. I'll just take you back there. There's a lot more areas of darker red in that home end rather than Elanga's. So he is good at working. And one of his strengths for me is the way he presses. But is that something Nuno wants out of his wingers? We will wait and see how that happens. So overall, when you look at their stats, they are quite comparable. And you can start to understand why Nuno's had a look at Ndoye and thought there's enough in there to say that there is a lot of traits that are similar. Now, I think Ndoye is a better dribbler of the ball, like close ball control and what have you. I still think, I don't care what you guys say to me, Elanga is way quicker than him. I think we lose a bit of pace with Ndoye. Maybe that's why we're looking at Adama Traore as hopefully just a backup. So those are the comparisons. So what do you guys think to that? Do you think they are a bit more like for like when you look at the stats? Still on the eye though, I think he's a very different player to Elanga. So this could be an interesting one. All right, so let's have a look at how Ndoye potentially fits into all the different systems that Nuno undertakes at Forest. So I've got the team sheet here for you. By the way, I don't know if his number's 14. That's my guess. What's your guess? I think you might get it, but we'll have to wait and see. So as I mentioned, we've got the one that I think Nuno isn't reverting away from, the 4-2-3, 4-2-1, 4-2-3-1, I'm trying to say here. Which was predominantly the one that Nuno set up in, especially when we were in that good period of the season. Now, it could be quite easy because we've only lost one player in Elanga, so this could be tag out, tag in, and you could put Ndoye there. But as I showed you from the heat map, there is a strong possibility that he might be used on the left-hand side. And this might be why in our previous game against Fulham in the second half, you saw Callum Hudson-Odoi playing down the right-hand side. And I actually didn't think he did too bad there. That will allow Ndoye to come in and invert, but you're also taking away Callum Hudson-Odoi's special finishing move, the cut in the finesse shot. So I think Ndoye has a stronger weak foot than Callum Hudson-Odoi. I actually think I would say he's like a 4-star weak foot for those of you who understand FIFA terminology. But there is a possibility that Ndoye comes here on the left-hand side and that Callum Hudson-Odoi moves down the right-hand side. Now, if the little silly rumours are true and Fofana might be coming to Forest, one can dream, then we could potentially see Fofana on the left, Ndoye on the right, Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left, Fofana on the bench. Nuno starts to have some options, yet right now things are looking very thin with only Jota Silva as your backup winger. So we definitely need some more wingers. Oh yeah, and there's, of course, oil me up, baby oil boy. So look, that's one option. Now, the other one I want to talk about is the one we saw deployed in that second half again, which I found quite an interesting formation. And what we saw was a 4-3-1-2. And I don't know how that would work with Ndoye, because let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just bring Callum Hudson-Odoi off. A lot of you did like this formation that we saw with Jesus and Wood up front. And then potentially you would see Sangare, Anderson, and Ndoye there. Now, this does not work in terms of what's natural to Ndoye. He is a wide player, or he can play as a number 10, right? So he's done that a few times. To play as a CM on the right-hand side isn't really in his boathouse. The only way this works is if you go old school pull heart settings and go a diamond. And even then it would need to be a wide diamond rather than a narrow diamond. And I think you leave way too much work on Sangare there. So if we are going to deploy this 4-3-1-2, which I would agree with you guys, it didn't look too bad against Fulham in that second half in the friendly. I don't think you can put Ndoye there. And I actually think what you would then need to do is bring in a Dominguez, and then go more orthodox 4-3-3 or a Ryan Yates or whoever your heart's desire, or maybe a Douglas Luiz, one can dream. So look, that's one thing. Where he does fit into another formation and into another position is if we do go to a back three. Because for Switzerland, he has played a decent amount of games as a right wing back. So for that to happen, you would have to lose a couple of the midfielders. So let's get Dominguez out. How would we do this? Maybe Williams out and you put Einar on the left-hand side. Then you go Murillo, Milenkovic, and let's just say Cunha. I'm just picking names at random. You could then, if you want to make it quite attacking, bring Ndoye on that right-hand side. Go Sangare and Anderson. And then you got Einar and Ndoye as your wing-backs. Or it could be Williams, whatever. I'm not necessarily saying this is the team to do it. Because defensively, as I showed you, he does work quite hard going backwards. And that would be quite an aggressive back three. I wouldn't see that as a defensive formation. I would see that as block out the middle, use the width, use the pace of Einar and Ndoye. I actually don't mind that one too much. I'm just double checking I've counted right. Got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that'd be 11 players on the pitch. So that could be another way we could do it. But there is versatility in his game. And also, don't forget, I guess, technically speaking, I don't know if I haven't seen him play at left wing back, but he may have done. You could flip it around that way and have Einar on the right-hand side and Ndoye on the left-hand side, because Einar is very two-footed as well. So there are some options for this. And the more you break it down, the more you start to understand why Nuno was so interested in Ndoye and why Forest paid quite a lot of money to get him. And the other thing I want to add on top of all of this is that Forest had to go up against Napoli in all of this. And Napoli are, of course, Serie A champions. They've got real good European pedigree. They got Champions League as well. And Forest were able to hold them off and get the man as well. So I am being a bit of a happy clapper on this one. I still stand by he wasn't my number one choice. I would have rather gone for an Akliouche or a Bakayoko or someone like that. But you got to play the hand you're dealt with. And if you break down what he can offer Forest, there is actually quite a lot. So hopefully that's helped you to start to understand him. We'll be doing a video probably on Thursday for you guys with one of our Bologna friends who will give us their perspective of Ndoye. So make sure you tune in for that on Thursday. Don't forget, Forest are playing tomorrow as well. We'll have the watch along for you. So much content coming on, so make sure you've hit the like, make sure you've subscribed. We'll see you on the next one. Go check out the special Marinakas video over on Patreon. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds.